In romantic relationships, we know that setting boundaries is crucial for mutual respect and happiness. But how often do we apply this principle to our careers? And just like in a relationship, your career demands that give and take. It's that mutual respect between you and your work environment where your needs are met and your well-being is respected. Setting boundaries can feel tricky, especially when you're trying to prove your commitment and your value to the role. But remember, sustaining a healthy, long-term career relationship means respect for your time, your energy, and your wellness. I'm going to share with you now 3 tips around setting boundaries that you can apply to your career today, which will hopefully enable you to move forward in a more healthy way. Tip number 1 is to communicate clearly and assertively with your team and with your boss. Make sure they know that you're reaching a tipping point, or make sure they know how much work you've got to do. You might want to suggest that by taking on this project, it means deprioritizing another project that they might be expecting of you. That also means they then have the opportunity to decide which is the bigger priority and sort of absolves you of that responsibility. Tip number 2 is to prioritize and to delegate. There's a real art in understanding which is the highest priority task that you've got to do on your to-do list. And very often we're bamboozled, aren't we, by the person that's shouting the loudest must mean that their work is the most important. But often that's not the case. And understanding how you can deprioritize and prioritize things based on what you need to achieve rather than what your colleagues or your boss needs to achieve is a really important skill to learn. And tip number 3 is learn how to say no. And this is perhaps the hardest and most definitely the one that I find most difficult. But saying no doesn't mean you're categorically not going to do something. It might be no, not for the moment, or no, not yet. Saying no is probably the most important skill that you can learn in any job, because it means that you're respecting your own time. And once you get into the habit of being able to say no, it means that it just flows so much more naturally every other time. Almost no becomes your default. So there you have it. There's 3 tips to help you get your boundaries in order. Just remember though to start small. Don't try and climb the mountain in one go because it will make it overwhelming and unmanageable. Just remember though, set the boundary that's going to have the biggest impact on your day-to-day right now. And remember to be consistent with that boundary. Don't sort of wane off and try other things. Just be consistent with that one boundary over a long period of time, and it will have a positive impact on what you're doing from a day-to-day perspective. Setting boundaries isn't about limiting your opportunities. Setting boundaries is simply a way of making sure that the engagements that you do have are more meaningful and impactful for both yourself and those around you. It's a really, really important part of creating a healthy career relationship. As in the same way in personal and romantic relationships, boundaries are a crucial part of a respectful relationship between people. If any of that resonates with you, if you feel like you haven't got your boundaries in order, why don't you reach out for a 30-minute conversation where we can chat more around setting boundaries, and I can give you more tips and hints about what you might want to do to ensure that you have a healthier career relationship. As ever, thanks for your time, appreciate it, and have a great day. Take care.